My honored, chashuv, rebbeim and colleagues and students and friends, what a pleasure and honor. So it's Rosh Chodesh, and we know the Rosh Chodesh means the head of the month, the beginning of the month, but the deeper svarim, our sages teach us, it really means Rosh Chadash. Rosh Chadash means a new head, which means a new perspective, a new way to see myself and to see the world, just see the world and life in a much healthier way. And it means that we have to be new all the time. New in our avodas Hashem, new in our tefillin, new in our relationships. Chitchadshut, newness, is such a key element of our Judaism that without it, it gets very stale and we're just going through the motions. So here working at Aish, we often have people come in and they're very new. And they're Baal Teshuvah, they're very, very excited. And sometimes they come up to me and they say, Rabbi, I can't believe there's a God. I just think it's amazing there's a God. And I often give them a bracha and say, I give you a bracha that 3 years from now when you're in the Beis Midrash program, you also know that there's a God. Because it wears off. You're like, I'm just going through the motions now. I'm just steigen and I've lost the inspiration. So we've got to learn to be new and see it like this is the first time. Yesterday in Mincha, in the Sfadi Mincha, someone was walking around just before Mincha saying to everyone, you know, this is your only mincha for today. This is your only, someone was doing that, I don't know. This is your only mincha for today, it's your only opportunity. Take this mincha. You'll never get this mincha for today. Someone was going around saying that. So it's very important to be new in Torah, especially in Tammuz. It's the last month of the year, basically. So you could just like kind of cruise in, or you could say, no, I got to try and actually be new. So sages say, really what we're saying is not just new like that, but a whole new perspective on life. And we need that, particularly in this month of Tammuz, which the Zohar and our holy sages teach us is actually a very, very, very difficult month. We have the golden calf and smashing the luchot, and the sin of the spies happened in this month, and the walls of Jerusalem were smashed. It's a very, very difficult month. Dinim, Gevura is a very challenging month. So the first way we can change our perspective is how you deal with brokenness. Because it's going to come in your life. There's going to be times when you're just broken, you're not connected, I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling my mincha, I messed up, I made mistakes. So there's two approaches. One is, I give up, I'm a victim. And the other one is, this is an opportunity to rebuild. I'm going to grow again. So from the smashed luchot, we got the second luchot, which are much better, they're much holier. Partnership between man and God. And through the golden calf, we got the Mishkan. We got the Holy of Holies, it's very good. And through the smashing of the original walls of Jerusalem, we're going to build the Binyan Adei Ad. It's going to be an amazing bigger. So Rabbi Nachman says, Im ma'amim sheyachol lekalkel, if you believe that you can mess it up, ta'amim sheyachol letaken. If you can mess it up, you can build it again. So you can go into Tammuz and say there's all this terrible darkness for the Jewish people and it's terrible and get depressed about that. Or you could see the darkness as an amazing opportunity to shine your light. It's amazing, I'm going to bring my light into the darkness. So that's what we're really trying to do in this month. And our sages teach us, the Sefer Yetzirah, I never read it, but I read an article by someone who read it, who said that there's a special power and energy to every month. There's a special faculty that we're working on fixing, and the faculty of this month is sight, seeing. And it makes sense. The tribe of the month is Reuven, which is Reuben, to see. And we see in all of the parshas recently, there's been a misuse of sight. So in Shlach, we saw the Meraglim, whose job was to go and see. They saw wrong. They gave a wrong interpretation. They had the wrong perspective on the land of Israel, and they said bad things. Korach, we see, it says that Korach sinned with his eyes. He saw that one of his descendants is going to be Shmuel, who is compared to Moshe and Aaron. So he made a mistake with his eyes because it didn't really come from him, it came from his children. In Chukas, we complained about the man. Actually, in Chukas, the tikkun, the fixing for the seeing badly was to look at a snake, to look properly, to look up at Hashem. Balak is all about Bilam seeing bad things, and then we saw the women that we weren't meant to look at. So all of these parshas are really saying that we messed up our sight. So what we have to do is we have to fix our sight at this time. And there are really two main perspective shifts that we can learn from this month and this parsha. The first one comes from Haman. The holy sages teach, Sefer Yetzirah again, that every month of the year has a different order of Hashem's name. So Hashem's main name is Yud and Hey and Vav and Hey. And each month of the year has a different energy. So with a different energy, you're going to have a different combinations of this name, all based on Pesukim in the Tanakh, on verses in the Torah. So the pasuk for this month, for Tammuz, is Kol Ze Einenu Shaveli. When did this happen? Haman. Boo. Haman. So Haman basically had everything. He had power, and he had prestige, and he had women, and he had money, and he was the second in command. He was like the man. And yet he said, none of this is worth anything to me as long as Mordechai is not bowing down to me. There's just this one thing, and it's annoying me so much, I can't appreciate all the amazing things I have. So we've got to understand from this is your perspective on life. Whatever you focus on in life, that becomes your reality. So if you've got everything's amazing, but you focus on that one thing that's not amazing, that's going to become your reality. So if you have the best house and the best wife and the best job and the best car and the best everything, but you have jealousy, you're just not going to appreciate it. And you're not going to have the best house and job and wife, because I do. But no one has perfect everything. So if you need life to be perfect, to be happy, you're in big trouble. So your perspective on life, your attitude to life, that creates your experience of life. So if your attitude is, I've got everything, but there's one thing that's annoying me, it's not going to work. I was speaking to some people, not in this room now, but there were some people on a trip to Israel, and they seemed a little bit upset that they didn't have a very structured set schedule, because everything was all over the place. Not anyone in this room now. And I said to them, yes, I do understand that must be frustrating, but let's just see where we are. We're sitting in Jerusalem, and we got food, and there's water in the tap, and you woke up in a bed today, and you know what? Whatever the schedule turns out to be, it's going to be good, because we're learning Torah in Jerusalem with great people and great teachers. So we always want to start looking at all the amazing, wonderful things we have in our life. My Rebbe, Bilvavi, Rav Itamar Schwartz, he says, really, what would you sell your happiness for? What would you sell your happiness for? It's a great question. So let's say you don't get, there was no schnitzel left. Is it worth selling your happiness for that? It's not worth selling it. So I once asked someone's children, not my own, I once asked them, what would you sell your happiness for? And they were like, nothing! And then I gave one of them one cookie, and the other one 2 cookies. And the one who got 1 cookie seemed to be a bit upset like this. And I said, hold on a second, you just said you wouldn't sell your happiness for anything, and now you've just sold it for a cookie. Why are you selling your happiness for a cookie? There's nothing worth selling your happiness for. Why are you selling for? And then I worked out, there's got to be some psychological thing to this. I think the person who got 1 cookie, now he got it first. He was very happy with his 1 cookie. I'm very happy with my 1 cookie. I got a cookie. But then he saw that his brother got 2 cookies, destroyed his whole happiness. Well, you're not happy about your 1 cookie. So I worked out he'd probably rather that he didn't get any cookies than he didn't get any. I'd rather no one got than I got 1 and you got 2. Crazy. So people are doing that all the time. So the first thing we learn from this is focus on all the amazing things you have in your life, all the good. The more you focus on the good, the more good you're going to have in your life. The second thing I think we learn from this is don't compare yourself to other people, especially in yeshiva. You've got your own journey. He's steiging, he's doing this, he's davening better. It's not about anyone else. Just do your own journey. Focus on you and what your mission is in the world, and then you're going to be a much happier person. Second thing, how long do I have? Thanks. So the second thing we learn from this week's Parsha is Korach. So it says, V'yikach Korach, and no one really says what he took. Many different opinions, but I think the zach is that he just took. He was a taker. That's why it doesn't matter what he took. He's a taker. So if you're a taker, it's all about self-importance. It's all about me. That's it. And you've got to be careful in yeshiva, because many people say, why are you in yeshiva? I am in yeshiva to grow. I want to grow. I want to be a tzaddik. I want to be a Talmud Chacham. I'm here to invest in myself and my growth, and that's very true. You should be investing in yourself and your growth. Very, very important. However, why are you growing? What's the purpose of growth? So our sages say a crazy thing that people might not like. But it's not really about you. You're not here for you. You are here to serve Hashem and the Jewish people. So I'm growing in order to be the best servant of Hashem and the Jewish people. As Rav Alsan just said, I'm growing to be the best husband I can be. That's why I'm growing. I'm growing not for myself, although that's important. You have to start with yourself, but if it's all about you, then you miss the whole point of why I'm meant to be growing. I want to become the best person. It says at the very beginning of the Shulchan Aruch, Yitgaber ka'ari la'amod b'boker. You should strengthen yourself like a lion to get up in the morning. Why? La'avodot baro. People miss out those two words for some reason. To serve Hashem. And the Mishnah Berurah says, Ki lekach nivra ha'adam. Because that's what you were created for. It's the best Mishnah Berurah in the whole Mishnah Berurah. That is what you were created for. You weren't created to become a tzaddik. Did you understand? You're not here to become a tzaddik. You're created to serve Hashem and the Jewish people. Now, in order to serve Hashem and the Jewish people as best as you can, you have to be a tzaddik. I get that. But it's not about you. So I'm just going to read this quick Kedushas Levi. Very quickly. This week's Parsha. Ki yesh tzaddik she'oved rak la'asot ta'anug le'bayrei baruch hu. There are tzaddikim who all their avodas Hashem, everything they're doing in life, is jazzed to give eineg, to give delight, to give nachas ruach to Hashem. Why am I putting on my tefillin? To make Hashem happy. Does Hashem want us to put on tefillin? Yes. So why am I putting on my tefillin? Because that makes Hashem happy. I want to make Hashem happy. I love Hashem. Ve'etzel zeh tzaddik ein chiluk im hu oseh ta'anug le'bayrei baruch hu or tzaddik acher oseh ta'anug le'bayrei baruch hu. So for him, he doesn't mind who's giving Hashem the nachas. So he never gets jealous. If he sees someone davening better than him, or steiging better than him, learning it better than him, you'd get a bit jealous. I want that. You're Korach. I want to be the... But if you're only in it for Hashem, you're going to be so excited that this Yid is giving nachas to Hashem because you're in it for Hashem. It's all for Hashem. So anyone who's investing in Hashem, I'm happy about that. The person who's doing it just for himself and he wants to get reward for it, he wants to be the one. I want to be the man. So when you're really serving Hashem, it's not about you. So Moshe's being a great leader. If Korach knew this, Kedushas Levi, he's like, Moshe's giving Hashem so much nachas. I'm so happy. I'm so happy because I want Hashem to have nachas. And there it goes. So you might have learned that the purpose of life is to get pleasure. Hashem created you to get pleasure. It's not true. I don't know where you could have heard that, but it's not true. You weren't created to get pleasure. You were created to give pleasure. Understand that. You weren't created to get pleasure. That's very selfish. But higher levels of pleasure, my spiritual relationship with Hashem is pleasurable. Very nice, but that's self-centered. You're not created to get pleasure, created to give pleasure. Now, in order to give pleasure, you have to get pleasure. You have to love yourself first, but it's not about you. So you might be thinking there is a Mishnah in Sanhedrin that says, but it says, Bishvili nivrat olam. Bishvili nivrat olam, which we have to say every day. By the way, you're chayav to say that every day. Does anyone say that every day? That's a chiyuv, it says. No, so, you have to say every day, the world was created for me. So you could read that in one of two ways. You could read that in a Korach Haman way, which is the world was created for me. I get it, it's for me. Or you could read it in a Rabbi Nachman Rav Noach way. And they read it like the world was created for me, therefore I'm responsible. It was created, I had a huge responsibility. Oh my goodness, the world was created for me, I have to perfect the world, that's what I'm here for. And the other thing Rav Noach loved, I'll finish with this, is it says, Kirvat Elokim Litov. Mesillah Shisharim, maybe Rav Noach's favorite book, says that the whole purpose of life, Kirvat Elokim Litov. Closeness to Hashem is what is good. Everything is about closeness to Hashem. So you can read that in a Korach Haman way, which is closeness to Hashem is good for me, and therefore I'm going to get as close to Hashem as I possibly can. Or you can read it in a Rav Noach way, which is Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha, which means if closeness to Hashem is good for me, it's got to be good for everyone else. So therefore, I want everyone else to have it. If it's good for me, like if you see a good movie, you want to share it with your friends. So once you love Hashem and once you love Judaism, then you want everyone else to have it. Kivad Elokim Litov is, it's good for me and therefore I want to give it. And that's what Kiruv is. obviously you have to bring yourself close to Hashem first. It starts with you. But it's not for me. It's not about my closeness to Hashem. My closeness to Hashem is only so that I could be there to help other people come closer to Hashem. And that's what we're doing here. Eish HaTorah, opposite the Kotel. You're the greatest people on the face of the planet. I'm not joking. We are the ones. We're going out there. We're not just learning. We're learning and building. But we're learning to go out there and change the world in every single way. So you're going to learn, and you're going to be here, and you're going to become the best husband. By the way, if someone says to you, you know what, do you want a good wife? You should say, well, no, I want to be a good husband. But I have a good wife as well. There's no about you. You want to be a good husband. So that's what Eish is all about. We're here, and I want you to sit in the base midrash, and I want you to steig, and I want you to become a tzaddik and a Talmid Chacham. But there's something called a tzaddik bepeltz. Tzaddik bepeltz, that means a tzaddik in a fur coat. If you're very cold in the Ukraine 300 years ago, there are two ways to get warm. One is to put on a fur coat. That will keep you warm. The other way is to build a fire. Now, when you build a fire, maybe you wouldn't be as warm as if you had a fur coat because it can't get on your back. But it does mean that everyone else can get warm as well. So you're going to be a tzaddik in a fur coat that it's all about me and my warmth and my connection to Hashem. Or are you going to say, no, it's not actually all about me. I'm going to build a fire. Eish HaTorah, I'm going to build a fire. Light up the whole world with Torah. Be'ezrat Hashem, we should be zeicher to be able to do this in a joyful and conscious way.